How would I score the judging in MMA? I would change the judging, okay, personally. Now, I don't really believe that you can give somebody a 10-9. I don't think it really makes sense. Now, here's why, okay? And the Till Thompson fight is a good example of that. Let's say, for instance, let's say it's a 3-round fight. Let's keep it really simple, okay? It's a 3-round fight, okay? Round 1, I edge it out. But like by a hair, but I edge it out. I win 10-9. Round 2, I edge it out by a hair. I win 10-9, by a hair. Come round 3, you take over. You take over, you're beating me. It's totally evident that you're the better fighter. The other 2 rounds, we were kind of figuring each other out. You've exposed the hole in my game. You have now taken over. You've beaten me. No doubt about it. You took me down. You had a sub attempt. You tagged me a few times. You've totally figured me out. I would still win 10-9. 10-9. 10-9. 10-9 for you. So I would win 2 rounds out of the 3. But you were the better fighter. You figured me out. It took you 10 minutes, but when you finally figured me out, my skill level just wasn't there, and you won. Ultimately, you'd win. Why? You should win, I should say. Why? Because we need to score the whole fight, all the rounds as one round, like they used to do in Pride. In my opinion, you got to score the whole fight, watch 3 rounds, and then decide for yourself which fighter was the better fighter. Forget this point system stuff, because you cannot equate. You cannot quantify control time, domination, strikes. You cannot quantify them. We don't have any data that will perfectly quantify them. Now, just saying that one person landed 10 significant strikes and the other person landed 8, what does that mean? Maybe those 8 shots were far more devastating than the 10 shots that the other man landed. So you can't quantify these things in a way. You need an expert eye to look at the fight, and you see 15 minutes of 2 individuals fighting, and you have to decide with a certain criteria. It cannot be perfect, obviously, the criteria. And it has to be scored as one round, because the strategy of the fighters will change. The strategy of the fighters will change. If I know I won the first 2 rounds, I'm going to fight very differently than if it's a round apiece. And this is normal. People are always going to play the rules. However, if it's scored as one round, I got to keep fighting. I can't play conservative. I can't sit back on my lead. I have to keep fighting. Why? Because you can win the entire fight in the last portion. You can win the entire fight in the last portion. That's, of course, if we count it all as one round. So I think it would make the fighters fight more. And I also believe that if I take you down in round 1 and the bell rings, in round 2, we should start on the ground. There should be a standard 5 positions that are on the ground, and the referee puts you in that standard position, and those standard positions are defined, and it's the closest of the 5 standard positions to what you were in at the end of round 1. This would change the game immensely. Grapplers would start to win more often. Wrestling and striking would now be on par with grapplers. The grapplers would have the same advantage as the wrestlers and the strikers. It's not fair that I took you down in round 1, the bell rings, the horn sounds, and the state interferes with the fight. Now the next round, you start standing again. It's not fair. You didn't get up by your own merits. You got up because the state intervened. And that doesn't make any sense to me. You didn't win by your own merits. How many fights have been altered because the sub or the position was on the ground? The fight was on the ground and the state intervenes. Now, I understand you can't have a 1 round 15 minutes because of commercials and other sponsor stuff. I get that. Interrupt the fight, 1 minute break, then put them back on the ground. Okay, so that's how I see it. Now, I don't know where the 1 minute breaks originated. I assume it's because they wanted to bet between rounds. I don't know what it was. I've never looked it up. However, it does interfere with the outcome of the fight. Now, if it's a boxing fight, who cares? You're always standing up. In MMA, it really alters the trajectory of the fight. It makes no sense. The 1 minute break should be taken out. And if we cannot take it out, the fight needs to resume where it was originally in round 1.